Hey, so you may notice it's a little bit different this week. We are broadcasting from our break room area here, and we have our own version of the letter wall here. We've got some drawings and some letters and notes from customers and whatnot, feedback that we received over the years, and have decided to put it up on our break room wall to give us some motivation and just see the effect that we have on people's lives, and the effect that writing has on people's lives is really something that really resonates well with us. So this is the Writer's Showcase, and for anybody that's start to see more people are coming in, so we'll get started. Writer's Showcase episode number 6, and one of the pens that we have today to take a look at is this Retro 51, and this is our exclusive coffee finish. And we'll also take a look at a new Retro 51, which is in the Slim Tornado, that has a slimmer profile. Of course, a Slim Tornado. So, and also, I have a couple pens in me pocket here, shirt pocket. I have a couple of sailors we're going to be taking a look at today in both the 1911 collection. One is the Fresca Blue, the other is a black with silver trim Realo. Both have music nibs. One is a large with the 21 karat nib. The other is the small with the 14 karat nib. So a lot of people ask us, it's like, well, what's the difference between going with the 14 versus the 21, or the large versus the standard? We're going to cover those questions today and do an honest apples to apples comparison, so you could take a look at it and make your own decision for which one you like. So let's get started. Alrighty, so I guess we can take a look at our sailors first. We have the retro out. Let's just move our retros over to the side here. And you see the bottle of Adelstein ink here. That's the aquamarine color. That is loaded in the Fresca Blue. Seemed appropriate for the pen. And the aquamarine was recently announced that it's being added permanently to the Adelstein line. It was a special edition for last year, for 2016, which usually means that if it's an ink of the year, it would last only that 1 year and then would be discontinued, so that you wouldn't be able to, it'd be hard to find them anymore. But Pelikan has since made this a permanent addition to the Adelstein line, which we have plenty of these available, so that's great. It's a very nice blue color, very light blue, matches this pretty well, as you can see here. Nice, like, lighter mid-tone saturation. It's got good shading with the music nib. And this is the 1911 Fresca Blue in the standard size. So this is the 1911S, and it has the 14K, just getting it to focus here, 14 karat gold nib with rhodium coating. So it matches with the rhodium silver trims. And this is the 1911 large Realo. So one of the things that you may notice right off the bat is the ink window. The Realo is a piston filler, so it has an ink window that's right below the section threads. Open this up here. And this guy has a 21 karat gold nib, which is also rhodium plated to match the rhodium silver trims, and it's also in the music nib configuration. This is filled with KWZ brown pink. So I'm just going to write here. I'm going to do a little writing sample. Yeah, so this is the 21K nib. You see that nice and big over here. The nib just writes, it just paints ink on here. So you see as we're just going here, and it has a little bit of that softness to it. You see when I'm hardly even pressing down, but you see how the tines just kind of make way for that ink to come right through the middle there and just paint the page. And of course it has a very thin side to side stroke here. And even turning the nib upside down, with a sailor, they even think of that. They say, okay, well, some people may want to write a thinner line, a thinner stroke than that here, which is drier. So you see it doesn't produce not nearly as much ink as with the downstroke, but it does give you a thinner line as well. But it's not scratchy. See, that's the thing too, is that you could do this with another nib, but it's not dragging the paper like certain other nibs would if you were to turn them upside down. It's a drier line, and it's finer than if you flipped it upside down and did it the correct way here. Well, not that it's correct, there's really no right or wrong to this. That's kind of the point that I'm making here. So I am putting that down, I'm picking up the Fresca Blue, and this is the 1911 standard with the 14 karat music nib. So we're going to give that a whirl over here. And this is the Pelican Adelstein Aquamarine. Now you can see the stroke is the same. So it's not a difference in actual nib size. The music nibs produce the same line width in both the horizontal and the vertical stroke. Both seem to carry the same amount of flow to the nib as well. And this one just doesn't seem to have as good of an upside down. This is me flipping the nib upside down and writing with it here. It seems to be drier to the point that it doesn't want to cooperate. This is very, very dry doing it this way. As you might notice that there's a slight difference. I'm feeling it more because I have the tactile ability of actually writing with this nib here, but you may be able to see it visibly while I'm just writing with it here, but it's not as forgiving, it's not as yielding to the stroke as the 21 is. Like if I'm pressing on it, it is, you can see it's flexing that tip slightly outward just by a little bit, and I'm kind of adjusting my angle here to see if I could get a better stroke, but it just seems to be that this is a little bit on the drier side anyway than the Realo is. It still is great in its own right. I do like this. I do like this nib. It does, you know, it does have a bit of a drier flow, and you can see like some of the strokes here, it's missing the top part of that stroke. That could also be the angle. I'm trying to vary the angle a little bit to see where's my sweet spot with this nib. So I'm very much used to writing with the 1911 Realo, something I have on my desk all the time, but this 1911 standard is not something I usually pick up here. So say if I draw, Freddie was asking for some actual music notes, and I'm not anybody to draw music notes. I have drawn some music notes in school and whatnot, but I don't know. Let's see that here. And it's funny because music nibs, you would think that, yeah, that this is something that gets drawn, that this is used by somebody who writes and draws music, but I would think that nowadays music nibs are definitely not used for their namesake purpose. But this is kind of the idea of it, is that since you could draw a very thin side-to-side line, you could just make a note here, I suppose. I don't know. I'm not a music literate type person, but I've seen music notes before. But I mean, this is my best impression of it. So also significant difference in the 1911 Realo versus the standard is the ink capacity. So with the standard, you have a cartridge converter filling system, which I'm just opening it up here. So I filled this here. This is the standard Sailor ink cartridge, or the ink converter, my apologies. And with the 1911 Realo, you can see that the ink is in there via that ink window, and it does hold quite a bit of ink in here. I could write with this possibly for at least like 3 weeks to a month, sometimes without changing the ink in the pen. So the price difference is quite significant between these two models. For what it's worth, the 1911 with the 21 karat definitely provides the, like the, how would you say, maybe the Lexus or the high-end type experience that would be noticeable to somebody who has written with like the standard model before. But for all intensive purposes of getting you to point A to point B, your 1911S is definitely going to get you 80%, 85% of the way there. All right, so that is our section there on the Sailor 1911 pens. Let's go move these guys to the side. Oh, and then there's also two, so I just wanted to mention really quick, Sailor had come out with a couple of nice ivory pens. So they're beautiful gold trim 1911s, one of which is in the large size and one of which is in the standard. That's the gold on it, and this is typically how your Sailor pens come. They're sealed in here in these little baggies. So it's a nice cream off-white color and has like a very small hint of like a marbling to it. It's very, very small, almost indistinguishable. But it's a beautiful ivory color that they've made with these. It's very popular in Japan from what I hear. Let's talk about this Retro 51. So this is a design that we had worked together in collaboration with Retro 1951. We said we'd love to see a coffee-inspired tornado, and they've been coming out with some awesome designs, including the Dinosauria and so many different tornado popper designs that have just been out of this world awesome. They're commercially extremely awesome because they sell out very quickly. People in America love coffee, and this embodies all of the different symbology that you would see at, let's say, a coffee roaster or your favorite cafe. It has a little emblem here of the coffee mug. You have another coffee mug here. You have like a demi-tasse cup, the espresso beans there, different sayings, different words here, ristretto, whole bean, and also too is one thing that doesn't really translate itself so much in the photography. The barrel has a sort of a like an etched, it's like acid etched, so that texture that you see there is actually something you can touch and feel. It runs all the way up and down the body of the pen here, and you could just feel it. It grips very nicely too because of that reason. We paired it with the bronzy sort of old-fashioned dark trim here, which I think really goes well. It almost makes it feel like it's a freshly poured shot of espresso, which we also have a brown top finial here to the knurled top. and that's how we're going to get the point in. And now is that we twist this knurled top, and it just really has a nice strong function to it where it doesn't feel cheap when you turn the top here. It just satisfyingly clicks into place when you're ready to write with it. So let me just get it over here so that we don't have too much of a glare. This, to start with, comes with a Retro 51 rollerball refill, which I'll show you here. All I'm doing to remove the rollerball cartridge is unscrewing the cap, the very top of the opening here, and just make sure that you do not remove the spring, because if you do, then it's going to be pretty much useless because it's a retractable pen. So this is a Ref 5P black ink cartridge. Has a more fluid feel than your typical ballpoint type cartridge, but yet comes out of a rollerball, and a retractable rollerball at that. So as you can notice, it has like a nice smooth feel to it, flows instantly, and has a good rich dark mark, and that's what you want out of a rollerball, so you don't want to have to press too hard to get that nice rich dark mark. Okay, so now we'll take a look at, this is a brand new item that we had just received about a week or so ago. This is the Retro 51 Tornado Slim. And the new batch of Tornado Slims had come in gemstone type colors. So this is the aquamarine gemstone. Hello, aquamarine ink. You can see a theme going on here. So the Slim Tornado, couple of minor differences here, and that's essentially what this video was kind of themed about, was that, you know, I'm showing minor differences between, let's say, the 1911L, the 1911S, and I'm showing the minor differences here between the regular Tornado and the Tornado Slim. You can notice that right off the bat, the length is the same, and when we look at it side by side here, the difference is mostly in girth, and that's, you know, that's come to, you'd come to expect that out of something that's called a slim version of the pen. So the Tornado Slim has about, like, I would say maybe like 1/8 of an inch or so thinner profile. See the clips appear to be different too, because we see like the clip for the Slim seems to be just a slight bit shorter, but overall it's fairly similar in design. So this is the aquamarine, like I had said earlier. It's got a satin matte finish all down the pearlescent quality of the barrel here. It still has a aluminum bodied finish here, so it does carry with it a bit of weight, not too weighty, but you know, significant enough that you would feel it's a metal pen, it's not a plastic pen. The trim and the knurled top here, the top ring, are all satin chromed. And we have the very top finial here, also has an aquamarine disc. And one of the major differences between this and the regular Tornado is that when we take out the refill, we see there's a Ref 71 refill, which is your typical Parker style type refill. Now with that, you wouldn't be able to put a rollerball type refill in here because the rollerball would not fit. It's too thick. So you wouldn't be able to put the more smoother flowing Ref 5P refill in there, and I'm having a bit of an issue trying to put this back in. There we go, now dropped in. So sometimes, like, if you have an issue with getting a refill to go back in, it just helps just twisting the refill in the barrel, and sometimes it just sits itself in more appropriately. So if I twist this here, and I'm gonna give this a go with writing with it here. Now you can see the Slim Tornado with the, even though this is an Easy Flow 9000 ballpoint, which that's what they refer the Ref 71 as, the Ref 5P, the gel rollerball, the capless rollerball, has a darker, richer saturation to the ink, and it's also easier to produce. Like for me to be able to get that sort of darkness to the mark, I have to press hard. So I have to press harder with the ballpoint. And you could tell, like, just from some of the areas of the line, just kind of that it was like skipping a little bit or just didn't have that fluidity to it. That's where the ballpoint's going to be a lot different than the rollerball is. And the other detraction or the other main difference being that the rollerball, of course, is not going to last as long as the ballpoint ink. The ballpoint ink is going to last quite some time longer because it's a paste ink and the capacities are roughly the same. So you're going to be going through this cartridge probably about like 2 to 3 times longer than you would with a rollerball cartridge, but the experience is going to be different. So if, let's say, you're the type of person that has an issue with trying to keep pressing hard, or just is relatively heavy-handed, then this is going to be fine because you're going to be, getting a thick mark with how you write with anyway. And it's helpful if you, let's say, do carbon copies. So if you do something like that, then you want to be able to press down to get to the other copies. With the rollerball, it's just much more fluid, so you have to put less of a pressure. I'm just barely stroking the paper here and getting equally as rich of a mark as when I was just pressing hard with the ballpoint. And like I said, the issue with the Slim Retro 51 is that it doesn't accept that rollerball refill. So if you like the profile of the Slim, you're just only stuck with the P9000 Easy Flow refill. So other than that, though, packaging in terms of how your Tornado is presented is about the same as what any other Tornado. It comes in a tube with a plastic baggie here, and it fits back in this way. It has a nicely designed commemorative tube here. And same thing with although I don't have the packaging for it, the Coffee Tornado has its own themed packaging which matches the pen as well. Here by saying thank you all for joining us today. Again, hailing from the break room here. So if anybody has any questions, any concerns, any ideas for a future writer showcase, any products or any particular topics that you'd like for me to talk about, please do send me an email at tom@goldspot.com. We'll just be hanging out here again next Thursday, and hope to see you then. So everybody have a great weekend and enjoy the beautiful weather. Thanks, have a great day, guys.